Hello. For our last day of email, we're going to be exploring how you can keep your email organized as you continue throughout the year. So one of the biggest things that happens with our email inboxes often is that we use them as our to-do list. And this is not a very effective way to use the inbox, partly because it tends to get cluttered up and it's hard to see the way everything is going. So the first thing we're going to do is talk about some simple ways that you can, if you are going to use your email as your to-do list, that you can do that. And so the first way you can do this is the very, very basic way, is that you can leave all of the unread emails as the things you need to do. So if you open this email here, and you read it and you're like, okay, well, I need to go back and do something with that later. Right now, Google thinks that this has been read. You can come up here to the envelope and click mark as unread, and it's going to change it back to read. You can also do it from here. So if I click this as mark as read, I can go back and select it and then click mark as unread. Another way that you can do this is by changing a little bit how your inbox looks, how this panel here works. So I'm going to show you a way that you might be able to separate your to-do list from your actual emails. So this is what I'm going to have you do. Come up here to the gears. And before we talked about the important emails first, right now I have my box set up as unread first. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here to multiple inboxes. And I'm going to customize this. So the way I'm going to set this up is for thinking of teachers or anybody who has a lot of emails that they don't want to deal with right now or don't have time to deal with right now, but are going to work on later in the afternoon or later in the day. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make 3 sections in my inbox. There'll be 4 because there'll be everything else. So the first one is anything that's unread is going to appear in the top. Anybody that is important is going to appear second. And then I am going to use the starred label to make a section called Get to It Later. And this is kind of what I'm going to use for my to-do list. So what I'm thinking for the teachers is you could use this for all the student emails that don't need to be addressed right away, that you can just sort of put to the back and then address them when you have a chance. So let me go down to the bottom. I'm going to click Save Changes and then go to my inbox. So now my inbox is, my inbox has all of these different emails. So first I'm seeing all of my unread emails. Now, if I'm going through this and I go, oh gosh, I need to make sure that I check in with Mr. Ruiz later, I'm going to star this and it's going to move this email down here to the get to later. We're going to give it a second. There it is. And it's showing up as unread. And then anything that was important would be moved to, let me see, I'll move this one to important. Anything that was marked as important or that I had told was important would be put into this area. We're going to wait for Google to update. And there's my important email. And so this way, if you're using the starred by marking the emails that you need to use as your to-do list, this would be a simple way for you to make a to-do list down here in this Get to It Later category. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and unstar them and they will disappear out of this to-do list. So I'm using this Get to Later section of my inbox as my to-do list. That's one way that you can organize your emails sort of with a to-do list. It's not the best way. And in fact, I'm going to make a separate video going over a few ways that you can actually use to-do lists from your emails. Now I'm going to go back to my unread first. That's the way I like it, so I'm going to leave it that way. I'm going to unstar this, and I wanted to show you a quick way that you can highlight many emails at once. So if I want to mark this email to this email down here to Edpuzzle as read, I can select the first one and then click on this, hold down the Shift key on my keyboard, and then click here, and it will select all of those. And so now I can go ahead and mark those all as unread. And it'll take a second for Google here to move them down here to everything else, but eventually they will move. and you'll have a nice and clear email box. So that's a couple of ways that you can keep your organization going throughout the school year.